Founding and the Rise of Noble Houses, M34. The Genesis of Dominus Prime. In the early M34, intrepid colonists from the Imperium set foot in the Hera Solar System, carrying with them the seeds of a new civilization. The initial settlements were born from the very vessels that traveled the stars. These ancient, colossal ships were repurposed into the foundational structures of what would become the Hive city of Dominus Prime. This transformation symbolized a blend of pioneering spirit and the necessity of adaptation in a new world. The early years were marked by both wonder and hardship. The colonists, equipped with advanced technology, faced a world teeming with fierce predators and harsh environmental challenges. The planet's untamed wilderness proved to be a crucible, testing the resolve and ingenuity of its new inhabitants. Catastrophes were frequent and devastating. Natural disasters, coupled with the relentless onslaught of predatory fauna, led to significant loss of life and resources in the early days. It was during these tumultuous times that the noble houses emerged as beacons of stability and leadership. House Valorum, in particular, distinguished itself through its resilience and resourcefulness, rallying the people and orchestrating efforts to tame the hostile environment. The noble families, each with their unique strengths, collaborated to fortify the settlements. They oversaw the construction of defenses, the development of sustainable agriculture, and the establishment of trade networks within the system. The Hive city of Dominus Prime, rising from the remnants of ancient starships, became a symbol of human tenacity and adaptability. As the centuries passed, these noble houses, with House Valorum at the helm, transformed the initial settlements into a thriving civilization. Their legacy was not just in the towering spires of Dominus Prime but also in the unbreakable spirit of its people, who had overcome the odds to carve out a bastion of humanity in the Hera Solar System. The era of isolation and the role of nobility, late M34, early M40. The struggle for survival. As the Hera Solar System progressed into the late M34, it entered a dark and tumultuous period known as the Era of Isolation. This era was marked by relentless attacks and raids from Orc and Dark Eldar forces, which wreaked havoc across the system. The constant threat from these invaders led to a catastrophic depletion of resources, plunging the once thriving settlements into a state of despair. The situation grew dire as food supplies dwindled and essential resources became scarce. Starvation and disease became rampant, decimating the population and pushing the civilization to the brink of collapse. Amidst this chaos, the noble houses, who had once overseen a period of growth and prosperity, found themselves fighting for survival. In these desperate times, the noble families, with House Valorum at the forefront, made a pivotal decision. They banded together, pooling their remaining resources and influence to transform Hive Dominus into an impregnable fortress. The Hive city, originally a beacon of human ingenuity, became a bastion of hope and resilience. The noble houses, nearly the sole survivors of this calamity, took drastic measures to ensure the survival of their people. They oversaw the rationing of food, the fortification of defenses, and the establishment of strict laws to maintain order. The Hive city's towering walls and intricate defense systems were bolstered, turning it into an unassailable stronghold against the relentless onslaught of the invaders. This period of isolation and hardship forged a new identity for the inhabitants of the Hera Solar System. The noble houses, once mere leaders and administrators, became the guardians and saviors of their people. Their actions during these dark times laid the foundation for the eventual resurgence of the system, setting the stage for its rejoining with the wider Imperium in the early M40. The Dark Eldar raids and noble defiance. Mastery of urban warfare. The Dark Eldar raids on the Hera Solar System, particularly on Hive Dominus, were a period marked by terror and unpredictability. These Xenos raiders, known for their speed, cruelty, and cunning, posed a unique threat to the system's inhabitants. However, the noble families, led by the strategic acumen of House Valorum, turned what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into a theater of tactical brilliance. The key to their success against the Dark Eldar lay in situational awareness and an intimate knowledge of the Hive city's sprawling infrastructure. The nobles understood that conventional warfare tactics were futile against such a swift and elusive enemy. Instead, they adapted to a form of urban guerrilla warfare, utilizing the labyrinthine corridors, hidden passages, and multi-leveled structures of Hive Dominus to their advantage. The noble families, each with generations of experience living within the Hive, had an unparalleled understanding of its layout. This knowledge allowed them to set up ambushes, create choke points, and navigate quickly through the city, often appearing from seemingly nowhere to strike at the raiders. They turned the Hive's complex architecture into a weapon, using its numerous vantage points and narrow alleys to launch surprise attacks and retreat before the Dark Eldar could regroup. This strategy of hit-and-run tactics, combined with the use of the Hive's internal surveillance and communication systems, enabled the defenders to be always one step ahead of the raiders. The noble families coordinated their efforts, sharing intelligence and resources to maximize the effectiveness of their counterattacks. One of the most notable aspects of this defensive strategy was its focus on minimizing civilian casualties. The nobles prioritized the safety of the Hive's inhabitants, often using their own forces to evacuate civilians from combat zones and setting up safe zones deep within the Hive. This approach not only saved countless lives but also bolstered the morale of the populace, who saw their leaders not just as rulers but as protectors. The Dark Eldar, accustomed to facing disorganized and panicked prey, found themselves outmaneuvered and outwitted at every turn. The noble family's mastery of urban warfare, their deep connection to the Hive city, and their unwavering commitment to their people turned Hive Dominus into a fortress that even the most fearsome of Xeno's raiders could not breach with ease. The Orc Threat and Noble Guardianship. Captain Val Hayden's Valor. As the Hera Solar System faced the relentless onslaught of Orc invasions, a new era of defensive strategy emerged, marked by the pivotal role of newly constructed space stations and system defense vessels. These fortifications in the void played a crucial role in reducing the number of Orcs that could land on the planets, particularly the main Hive world. Among the defenders, one figure stood out for his exceptional bravery and tactical genius, Captain Val Hayden of House Hayden. Captain Hayden, commanding the flagship of House Hayden's fleet, became a symbol of resilience and hope during these dark times. His vessel, along with a fleet of newly built merchant and defense ships, formed the first line of defense against the Orc invaders. These ships, equipped with the latest armaments and reinforced hulls, were instrumental in intercepting and engaging the Orc fleet before it could reach the planet's atmosphere. Captain Hayden's strategy was a masterclass in space warfare. He utilized the system's asteroid fields and the gravitational pull of moons to create ambush points and traps for the Orc ships. His knowledge of the system's spatial geography allowed him to predict and counter the Orcs' movements, turning their brute force tactics against them. The most notable achievement of Captain Hayden was during the Battle of the Gorgon's Belt, where he led a daring assault against a massive Orc cruiser. In a display of unmatched courage and tactical acumen, Captain Hayden maneuvered his ship within the cruiser's blind spot, unleashing a devastating barrage that ultimately led to the cruiser's destruction. This victory was a turning point in the battle, significantly reducing the number of Orcs that managed to land on the planet. Captain Hayden's efforts in space warfare were so effective that they surpassed the achievements of the planetary defense forces on the ground. His actions not only decimated the Orc fleet but also prevented significant landfall on the Hive world, saving countless lives and infrastructure. The tales of his bravery and strategic brilliance spread throughout the system, inspiring both the military and civilians alike. Under Captain Val Hayden's guardianship, the space around the Hera Solar System transformed from a vulnerable expanse into a formidable barrier against the Orc threat. His legacy is remembered as a testament to the strategic importance of space defense and the indomitable spirit of the noble houses in protecting their system from invasion. Reconnection with the Imperium and the modern era, early M40. Inquisitor Kellen Mackenzie's diplomacy. The early M40 marked a pivotal moment in the history of the Hera Solar System with its reconnection to the Imperium of Man. This monumental event was spearheaded by Inquisitor Kellen Mackenzie of the Ordo Hereticus, who arrived with a formidable Imperial fleet. The arrival of the Inquisitor and his fleet was met with a mix of apprehension and hope among the inhabitants of the system, who had endured centuries of isolation and conflict. Inquisitor Mackenzie, known for his discerning nature and unwavering dedication to the Imperium, approached the situation with a blend of caution and strategic diplomacy. Understanding the complex history and the independent spirit of the Hera system's noble houses, he entered into deep council with the system's leaders, particularly the influential House Valorum. These discussions were fraught with tension, as suspicions and uncertainties about the true intentions of both parties were high. Despite the initial apprehension, Inquisitor Mackenzie's diplomatic skills and genuine desire to see the system thrive under the Imperium's banner gradually won over the trust of the system's nobility. He assured them of the Imperium's commitment to protecting and supporting the system, while also emphasizing the benefits of rejoining the greater fold of humanity. The Inquisitor's respect for the system's traditions and his recognition of the noble house's crucial role in maintaining stability throughout the dark times played a significant role in easing the negotiations. After intense deliberations and assurances from both sides, an agreement was reached. The Hera Solar System officially rejoined the Imperium, marking the end of its era of isolation. The moment was celebrated with great fanfare throughout the system, as the populace rejoiced in their reconnection with the wider Imperium of Man. The noble houses, once wary of losing their autonomy, found new purpose and pride in being part of the greater Imperium, contributing their resources and expertise to its cause.